Put a human in a sprint against many four-legged mammals, and our species looks badly cast for the role. The gap opens and the human is still working. But that embarrassing race tests acceleration and top speed, not the ability to keep running. So the real question, if humans are not impressive sprinters, why can our bodies be so capable of sustained running? Built to run is provocative shorthand, not a claim that humans were designed only for running. Walking and running are different gaits, and the human body is a multi-purpose system. Still, researchers comparing endurance performance have argued that humans do remarkably well by several criteria. The surprise is not one secret feature. It is a package of traits that can work together once the contest changes from a burst to a long, repeating cycle. Shift the scoreboard from stopwatch to road. The athlete is not suddenly faster. The challenge now rewards controlled repetition. Start at the ground, freeze a runner at landing, and the foot does not behave like a rigid wooden block. The arch flexes under load. Elastic structures in the lower leg also stretch. Some of the motion's kinetic and potential energy is briefly stored as strain energy during the first part of stance. The muscles are still doing work, and some energy is lost. The system is less like a motor that creates power from nowhere, and more like a spring that gives back part of what was put into it. Now let the frozen image move. Landing, loading, recoil, push off, then the sequence repeats on the other side. The human foot arch and distal leg tendons participate in this spring-like pattern. A bouncing ball is a useful visual analogy, but only up to a point. A person is not a passive rubber ball. Muscles guide each landing, control the joints, and keep the repeating bounce from becoming a collapse. Running economy emerges from controlled motion plus partial elastic return, not from one magical part. Move the spotlight upward to the pelvis. In one study, the gluteus maximus was mostly quiet during level and uphill walking, then became substantially more active during running. The researchers propose that it helps control the trunk's tendency to flex and helps decelerate the swinging leg. That is a measured difference between gaits with plausible control roles. It is not a timestamp for evolution. Evidence for when this muscle became enlarged in human evolution remains equivocal. The running versus walking contrast is important. A body can use the same structure differently when speed, force, and balance demands change. So the running package is not a row of parts stamped with one purpose. The pattern combines elastic loading with active muscular control of movement. Now, place a fossil silhouette beside the modern runner. Early African Homo erectus had more human-like body proportions, including relatively longer legs and shorter arms compared with torso size. Those proportions are multifunctional. They are compatible with a life of terrestrial travel and possibly with long-distance running, but they do not prove a running specialty. Even the famous Turkana skeleton, dated to around 1.6 million years ago, is missing nearly all of its hand and foot bones. It can reveal body form, not a complete spring system in action. The fossil argument therefore has to stay soft around the edges. Features reviewed in the skeleton suggest that a derived endurance running capability in Homo appeared around 2 million years ago. Endurance running may have mattered in the evolution of human body form. Suggest around and may are doing real scientific work in those sentences. Bones can preserve proportions and attachment areas. They cannot replay a day, identify one activity, or tell us that every feature evolved for a single purpose. Then the scene changes from fossils to a race course shared by humans and horses. Researchers examined 3 annual human versus horse events and compared race speed with ambient temperature. In hotter conditions, human speed deteriorated less than horse speed. That is intriguing, but the frame around the result matters as much as the result itself. 3 events, 2 kinds of competitor, and a relative change as conditions became hotter. It does not establish that humans dominate every animal, and this evidence does not identify the mechanism or reveal an evolutionary cause. Picture 2 lines sloping downward as the temperature rises, with the horse line falling more steeply. That graph is the reveal. It shows a difference in how performance changed within those events, not a universal finish line victory. Put the reveals together: a lost sprint, a flexing elastic arch, loading and recoiling distal leg tendons, active gluteal control, terrestrial limb proportions in Homo, and a conditional heat race result. Together, they show why not fast and capable of sustained running are not contradictions. Sprinting asks how explosive the body can be. Sustained running asks whether the entire system can repeat controlled work over time. That distinction also prevents the title from becoming a destiny story. Human endurance is a species-level capacity, not a command written into every person. A species-level capacity does not mean every individual is trained or ready for long-distance running. Variation, preparation, and context separate a biological possibility from an individual performance. So humans are built to run only in the careful sense. Our multifunctional bodies contain a remarkable package that can support sustained running. We are not the universal winners of every race, and the evidence does not reduce our evolution to one trait, one date, or one cause. The better final image is not a human on a speed podium. It is a human still moving down a long road, each controlled step storing a little energy, returning part of it, and beginning the cycle again.
Thanks for watching this video. Don't forget to subscribe.